Get out a pencil. You might want to back this up just a little bit. Thanks. Pencil and paper, please. So I wrote down here, over the weekend, thinking on Sunday, what can I communicate? How do I talk to you in a way that'll help move you into action? Because my sense is you're already starting to get it. Things are, you're understanding the business more and more. You're understanding the changes of the marketplace. But it was just, how do I move you to action? So I wrote down here, take action or accept the results. Take action or accept the results. I want to start there. We need to take action in life or we get to accept the results. And I wrote down here that most people who fail to achieve what they want, most people who fail to achieve what they want fail because of a lack of action. Most people fail because of a lack of action. The ability to take action is the skill that ultimately separates the winners and the losers in the game of life. The ability to take action. See, the truth is, I believe most of you know what to do, and most of you know how to do it. The issue is taking action. So I thought what I would do is I would calculate what not taking action over the last 90 days cost you. Okay? I thought, well, I've tried it many different ways, but let's look at it from, okay, if I would have taken action at a higher level over the last 90 days, what might have been possible? Okay? So let's start in the area, write down past client and sphere. Write down past client and sphere. Past client and sphere. Now, let me ask you guys a question. In your past client and sphere base, how many people do you have? Give me a number. 100, 150, 200, 2,000. Okay. Give me another number. No. It's okay. 300, 650. Okay, Drew? 140. Okay, good job. Hector, how many people? 180. Couple hundred people. Okay, so why don't we do this? Let's use 150 people, okay, as a base of past client and sphere that you have somewhere, either in your pocket, in your notebook, somewhere in your computer, someplace. Remember last week we talked about following up on them, but let's just talk about this number. We have 150 people, and let's assume that you touch them once a week by email, write that down, weekly by email, monthly by some kind of snail mail, maybe a just listed or just sold postcard, and that you call them every other month. You actually contact them and talk to them every other month. Statistics have shown us that if you would do that over time, that 10% of the people in your base will do business with you directly or indirectly, a friend or a relative. Okay? Directly or indirectly. So 150 people, and you did this over time, and you did emails weekly, snail mail monthly, phone call every other month. This is no big deal. This is not brain surgery, all right? Not a hard effort to do. you would get 10% of that return in business. So 10% of 150 people is 15 transactions over a period of a year, directly or indirectly. Also, let's just take, for the sake of this conversation, for easy math, let's say that the gross commission on each deal is around $10,000. For our company, it's somewhere right around that neighborhood right now, $9,200 to about $10,500. That's about the average commission. So let's just use $10,000. So that means that that activity done over a 12-month period should yield you about $150,000. So write that down, okay? Now, let's now write down expireds at the door. Expireds at the door. Simple MAP program. Master's Advantage program talks about past client and sphere. It also talks about expireds at the door. So let's assume that you went and contacted at the door, because most expireds don't have phone numbers right anymore today, right? Say yes. Yes. They just jump. So you're calling and calling and calling the 3 that have phone numbers, just like the other 18,000 people, or you're spending a lot of time, effort, and energy trying to find phone numbers. Just go knock on the door. Go out and knock on the door. 5 doors a day, 5 days a week. Again, not brain surgery. That's 25 doors at the end of the week. Let's assume you work 240 work days in a year. 240, now there's 365 days in a year, and I'm only suggesting you work 240 of them. So you still have a lot of time off, right? Say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, everybody's with me on this one.
Yes.
All right. So if you did that, you went to 240 work days, 5 a day, that would give you 1,200 expireds that you actually visited at the door, knocked on the door of 1,200 of those. Now, we know that a lot of people, in fact, most expireds, aren't home. So let's assume, just for this conversation, that only 30% of those people are at home. That means that you will face-to-face with 360 expireds at the door that you can use your script on in person over a 12-month period of time. Now, let me ask you a question. If you could talk to 360 expireds, how many of those do you think you might be able to convert over a 12-month period of time and turn into money? Give me a number. 10%? 10% is 36.
5%.
5% is 18. 2 of them? 5, 8, 30, 50. I mean, a decent amount, right?
Yeah.
360, you should be able to convert a decent amount. So I wrote down here, because I think you're pretty good, that you would actually be able to list 36 of them. I think you could list 36 of those. And I'm going to tell you that maybe of the 36, only 18 sell. Okay? Fair? Reasonable? So write down 18. Again, $10,000 per closed transaction would give you $180,000. 2 activities in a 12-month period of time. Now, let's write down your favorite activity and mine, previewing property.
Yeah.
Again, 5 previews a day, 5 days a week is 240 days of work days a year. That gives you will see 1,200 properties. All right? You'll see 1,200 properties. Now, first of all, if you saw 1,200 properties, how powerful would that make you as a listing agent going on listing appointments in terms of product knowledge? You'd be pretty powerful, right? Say yes.
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 I mean, absolutely. But here's the key, the second part of this. Has there ever been a time when you went out previewing property, just taking a look at what's going on in the marketplace, walking up to the house, unlocking the lockbox, going through that activity? Has there ever been a time where there's been another homeowner on one side of the house or the other, or maybe a buyer driving down the street that kind of slows down? Has there ever been a time in your career where somebody kind of got your attention or you got theirs, where you were able to put together a transaction from meeting somebody out previewing property? Has there ever been something like that?
Yes.
Absolutely. All of us have had that experience one time or another. I'm suggesting that if you were to go out and see 1,200 houses, that you would duplicate that experience a number of times over the year. So if you saw 1,200 houses, how many transactions do you think you'd do there?
10%.
So 10% is 120. That's a lot of deals. Okay? 5% would be 60 transactions.
2%?
2% is 24 transactions. I wrote down here, and I think you'll agree based on what I'm hearing, between 10 and 12 deals a year. One a month. One a month. One deal a month from going out and doing this activity. So that's 12 transactions at $10,000 a transaction. That's $120,000. Now we've got three activities that we've done. 3 activities. Okay. You're already out at the expired. You already used gas to go to the preview. Now I've asked Frank to do a class today at 12 o'clock, because one of the objections I hear a lot is, well, let's back up. You guys are pretty creative as to why you don't preview property. You really are. You're some of the best, okay? But the truth is, when it comes down to the real answer, it's generally you don't want to spend money on the gas to get there. Truth, okay? And I get it. It's $4 a gallon. I get it. However, I'm not sure if you know this, but our MLS, and Frank's going to walk you through it again today, has a system that you can take and map out the expired and the for sale by owners in a tight geographic area. So the idea is, what if you were to take, let's say, the city of Covina, draw a line in it where you have 2 lines where you kind of dissect it, and you got 4 parts of Covina, or 4 parts of West Covina, or 4 parts of Rancho Cucamonga, whatever city you happen to be working in that day. And then you just took the 2 Thomas guides in that one area, you put them in your MLS, and you wanted to know what were the new listings in the last 30 days and what were the new expireds in the last 30 days, have them printed out, click on 10 of those, have them map it for you in a tight geographic area. You probably could walk the 10 properties. Okay, it'd be a bit of a walk, but you probably could walk them. Now here's what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting you go see the 5 expireds and the 5 for sale, the 5 expireds and the 5 previews, but you also door knock 10 houses around each one, so that you've gone to see the properties. You probably are going to visit all 1,200 properties, because somebody, doesn't matter if they're home or not, because you'll have a lockbox key to be able to get into the property. The other part is the expireds, 30% are going to be home. So you probably could do you'll visit 360 of those people. So whether they're home or they're not home doesn't matter. What matters is that you door knock the 100 properties around it. So here's the statistics on that. If you were to door knock 10 houses a day around the 10 properties, 5 expireds and 5 previews, that would give you 100 doors a day. Everybody with me? 100 lousy doors a day. Again, not brain surgery. The only brain surgery here is Frank has got to teach you how to map it in the computer, okay? And that he can show you probably in about 8 keystrokes, all right? This is not difficult. 240 workdays times 100 doors is 24,000 doors at the end of a year. 24,000 doors, your fourth activity. Okay? And the fourth activity is really tied to activities 3, 2, and 3, right? Interesting. 24,000 doors. Now, if we use the same 30%, our home, that means you're going to talk to 7,200 people. 7,200 people. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If you talk to 7,200 people, and I don't care if you don't like this program and you decide you want to stand in front of Costco and talk to 7,200 people, I don't really care, okay? As long as you talk to 7,200 people, you are going to do business, right? Say yes.
Yes.
But 7,200 people, how many transactions do you think you could do if you talk to 7,200 people? Help me out here.
20.
How many?
20.
20. 1% would be 72, okay? How many? Okay. More than a couple, anybody?
Yes.
All right. So I wrote down here, even if your numbers were 300 contacts to one sale, 300 contacts to one sale, that means you would still do 24 deals. 300 contacts. That's almost you're not being able to talk. 300 contacts per closed deal. 24 deals is worth $240,000. Your 4 activities that I think and your coaching staff thinks you should be working on. So I did the math. Sphere of influence was 15 deals, that was 150,000. Expireds was 18 deals, that was 180,000. Previewing properties was 12 deals, was 120,000. And door knocking was 24 deals, was 240,000. That equals, over a 12-month period of time, 69 closed transactions and $690,000. Possible. Possible. So, the first quarter, write this down, is gone. The first quarter is gone. 3 months out of 12, gone. So the cost of your inactivity, because the truth is a few of you in this room have done a lot of this work and are on track for a magnificent year. And some of you, a greater number, haven't been doing what you should be doing on a daily, weekly basis. So, the first quarter, I wrote down here, you should have closed 17 transactions already, closed and pending. So, write that down, 17 closed and pending, which would have given you about $172,000 gross commission so far this year. 172,000. So what I want you to do with your coach this week and next is I want you to compare your closed and pending and your earnings with those numbers, or certainly your personal goal numbers. Your business plan. Take a look at it. The first quarter is over. So my question is, in your mind, if you could have earned $172,000 in the first quarter, I want you to write 172 on your paper. 172, 000. 172, 000. And then I want you to subtract what you earn, closed and pending. I'm going to give you the benefit, closed and pending. All right? Closed and pending. If you should have earned at least 172, and you're closed and pending, put that number in there, and then subtract them, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, what you have lost for not doing the activities that we've lined out here, that we've talked to you about day in and day out. That's what you have lost in the first quarter. So, the question I ask is, if you didn't do those activities, what got in the way? What got in the way? What happened? Why not? So I wrote down a couple of thoughts. Number one, not necessarily in any particular order. You didn't think the system would work. And I want you to write that down. I didn't think the system would work. And then either agree with that or disagree and cross it off. I don't care. But either you think it works or you don't think it works. But you've got to make a decision. I think it works or I don't think it works. And if it doesn't work and you're doing something that's making as much if not more money, I'm your guy. I support you 100%. And if you're not, then we really need to sit down and figure out why not. The next thing I wrote down here is you were too lazy. That you were too lazy. That you're hoping if I just hang around long enough, that maybe enough business will come my way that I'll be able to survive and thrive in these markets. How's that working?
Need more choices.
Need more choices, okay. I got a couple more. I think one of the reasons, I think the first two have possibilities. There's no question about it. I think the one we talked about earlier was another possibility, and that is gas is too expensive. And that is stopping you from going and doing these activities. And I'm not going to sit here and say gas isn't expensive, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it isn't a problem. But I got to tell you something. Okay? You all live in neighborhoods, so let's assume you don't even have enough gas to get to the office. Okay? Let's assume you don't even have enough gas to get to the office. But you all live in a neighborhood, whether it's a neighborhood of rentals, or a neighborhood of single-family homes, or a neighborhood of condominiums. You all live in a neighborhood. Even if it's a neighborhood of tents, okay? It's a neighborhood. You don't have to spend any money or time or effort or gas to door knock your neighborhood. You just put on your tennis shoes, you get yourself all cleaned up, you put on a big goofy smile on your face, and you go out and you start door knocking. Those of you who are fortunate enough that have a little bit of gas money and can get here to the office and make your phone calls from the office, that's fine. The phones are free here. Huh. All outgoing phone. Anyone that wants to pay my phone bill for a month, have at it. Okay? Because it costs a fortune to have you guys sit in here and make phone calls. In fact, this is just a side note on that. I was just thinking about this. I should probably work on this. If I should probably charge you then for the phone calls that you make a lead and then you don't follow up on it. You use my phone to create the lead. You spend my money to get the lead, and then you don't follow up on the lead so that we both can get some money. That's a whole, I'm going to do a whole sales meeting on that one. Whoa! And the last thought I had down here, and there's probably 100 more, is that you don't know what to say and how to say it. You don't know what to say and how to say it, and that prevents you from picking up the telephone, or it prevents you from door knocking. And you're too embarrassed to go out and talk to people because you don't know what to say and how to say it. So think about that thought for a second. If you take the $172,000 and you subtract it from what you earned, and whatever that number is left over, and in fact, not knowing what to say and how to say it prevents you from doing business, and you don't spend any time, effort, and energy learning how to say what to say and how to say it at what level, look how much money you're costing yourself, and you're continuing to cost. What is the cost of ignorance? What is the cost of ignorance? It's gigantic. So your coaches got assigned last night. I sent them all an email. Their job in the next 2 weeks is to go over the goals that you turned in to us. Their first quarter, we're going to go over your goals you turned in to us. Now they already have this outlined. They have it physically with them. Okay, I emailed that out last night too. So they're going to go over the goals you turned in to us. They're going to review with you. We'll have for them by the end of the week what you've earned and hopefully what you have pending. But they're going to double check to make sure they have all that pending information. They're going to review with you how much it cost you for not doing what you said you were going to do in the first quarter. They're just going to have a conversation with you. They're not going to beat you up over it. They're just going to bring it to your attention. Okay? Because we want you to be informed. We want it to be in your face. We want you to understand that you should have made somewhere in the $170,000 range in the first quarter. There isn't one person in this room, not one, that if they would do these activities, couldn't possibly get close to $170,000 in a quarter. Not one of you. You all have that capability. You may choose not to use it. You may think I'm wrong. Well, okay, I'll take that bet. Do this and prove me wrong. Do these activities for the next 12 months and prove me wrong. Prove to me that you can't make $600,000+ by doing this. I'd like you to do that. Because you know why? We both would win. If you did these activities, I guarantee you, you'd get close to $700,000 worth of earnings. You would. It's impossible not to. And yet, you come up with reasons every day, every week, every month as to why you can't do some of the things on here. Stop it. Stop it. The neat part is if you haven't achieved what you wanted to achieve in the first quarter, we still have 3 quarters left. We still have 3 quarters left. And it's still possible. I wrote down here, you have to change your self-talk. Write that down. You have to change your self-talk. You have to change how you talk to yourself. Your thoughts become your words become your actions, and your actions or inactions become your destiny. Where we are today, where you are right now, is a direct reflection of the words, thoughts, and actions you took days, months, and years ago. They're a direct reflection of what you did yesterday, and the month before, and the year before. It's a direct reflection. I tell you guys all the time, this is not from one big taco last night, okay? This is many tacos over many nights. That's how it accumulates. It accumulates positively, and it accumulates negatively. I wrote down, no matter how much some people blame their parents, their teachers, where they grew up, what television shows they watch, the government, or anything else, the truth is that nobody got them where they are today but themselves. You are where you are because it's okay with you. Because if it wasn't okay with you, you would change it. You would say, that's it! Never again! I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. I wrote down